Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great crypto exchange that I've been using since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. They have 10 plus million users, 250 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. You can also buy and sell precious metals and equities on this platform. They have some great features and options. So if you'd like to learn more, please visit the link in the description. Well, folks, we got some big news around Ripple, the XRP Ledger, and the CBDCs. So here's the headline: Ripple to demonstrate tokenization in the Hong Kong Monetary Authority EHKD pilot program using new CBDC platform. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is looking at retail CBDC use cases such as equity release of tokenized real estate assets with Ripple's new CBDC product. Let's jump into the details here. Ripple will partner with Taiwan's Fubon Bank and others to demonstrate equity release with tokenized assets using a retail version of the EHKD CBDC. Equity release, also known as a reverse mortgage, is the practice of a lender letting a homeowner access the equity in their home, with payment coming due only when the house is sold or the borrower dies. Tokenization can reduce the friction in the equity release process and speed throughput for banks. Ripple said in a statement, the company is participating in the so-called second rail of the program, which will take a deep dives into use cases such as well as application, implementation, and design issues related to EHKD, according to the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. This is really big, folks. First, we're seeing CBDCs coming from all over the world. This is a global initiative where central banks are tokenizing fiat currencies on the blockchain. And which blockchains will they use? Well, this is where we're starting to see the news. The XRP Ledger is one. I've heard Algorand. I've heard about Ethereum. So they're going to use different blockchains out there. There's also Stellar Lumens. So there's not going to be one blockchain where all these banks, central banks, tokenize on. It's going to be a multi-chain world, and there's of course going to be interoperability. And we know CBDCs are inevitable. I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm actually concerned about the privacy aspect here in the United States, at least because that's where I live, with the digital dollar that the Fed is working on. So we still have to figure out the rights, right? That do they apply here, and what will these governments do with them? Will they abuse them? We know they can do a lot of good. And here's an example, with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority looking to do something with real estate and lending and so forth. There's a lot of great applications and implications, and a lot of things will be solved as a result. The downside, of course, is that privacy and the abuse. And we hope that doesn't happen, but at least we have options. We can use Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP to move value. We don't necessarily have to use the CBDC. We can also use stablecoins, right? So here's some more details. Experiences coming out of the Rail 2 pilots will factor into any decisions the Hong Kong Monetary Authority to go live with an EHKD at a later date. Rail 3, Ripple's Vice President of Central Bank Engagements, CBDC's James Wallace, told Cointelegraph in a written Q&A. Y'all may recall my interview with James Wallace. I think it was from last year, where we talked about what they're doing and their plans. So the pilot project will run on Ripple's new CBDC product, the Ripple CBDC platform, using a new private ledger with XRP Ledger technology and enhanced functionality, including offline transactions and non-smartphone use. Wallace added here, all the pilot program partnerships that Ripple previously announced, including Montenegro, Palau, and Bhutan, will leverage the CBDC platform. So there are some folks saying, oh, you see, it's not going to use XRP, but that's not the point. As I've shared on this podcast before, and here's where you have to be an educated investor. We are in the world of blockchains. The blockchains can be adopted without the usage of the native token. That goes for Ethereum, Cardano, Algorand, HBAR, XRP Ledger, right? You can build on said blockchain, but Metcalfe's law, network effects, the more adoption and building on a blockchain, the stronger that blockchain becomes and the more valuable it becomes, right? The network grows and becomes stronger. Study Metcalfe's law and you'll understand how that value is added from adoption, right? It's pretty much common sense. The more customers a business has, the more valuable it becomes. Facebook, before even monetizing as a social platform, had millions of dollars in valuation because they had the adoption. They had people on the platform, right? They had the network adoption, Metcalfe's law. So if you have adoption on these blockchains and their value goes up, that will indirectly increase the value of the native asset, whether it be the XRP on the XRP Ledger, Ether on Ethereum, ADA on Cardano, and so on and so forth. So that's where a lot of people miss. They don't understand what's at play here and how these principles play out in network effects. So great news if you're an XRP holder, right? Because there's more building on the XRP Ledger, and that will increase the value. And of course, Ripple's working with many different central banks and governments, and they're going to get adoption. But once again, XRP Ledger won't be the only blockchain. Ethereum is going to get adoption, and we saw Algorand was getting CBDC piloting happening on its blockchain. So this is the world we're headed to, folks, the token economy. And it's interesting what the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is looking to do here with tokenized real estate assets and mortgages and equity and lending. This is the future. It's pretty amazing. A brave new frontier. And here the folks at Ripple tweeted out about this, and they showed a photo of the Ripple employees with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority folks. So it's happening. They're meeting with these government officials, and Hong Kong is very pro crypto now. They've opened up banking, they've opened up licensing, so they're moving ahead of the United States. Ripple's David Schwartz, he tweeted out about this. He said the CBDC platform reaffirms the significance of the XRP Ledger as it's built with the same core ledger technology. It has the ability to interact with the XRPL and use XRP as a bridge currency for cross-currency and cross-border payments. So David highlighting, hey, they can, if they want to, use XRP to do certain things, but they don't necessarily have to. But once again, people only look, hey, is the token being used? But hello, the token runs on the blockchain. So if the blockchain gets adoption, the value increases, that value trickles down to the native asset, but also they can use the asset. So you have to understand network adoption, network effects here. So great that David is shining some light on this. Now let's move ahead, because speaking of XRP and Ripple, shout out to Congressman Tom Emmer, who I've interviewed many times on the podcast. And he put out a new bill here with Congressman Darren Soto, who's a Democrat out of Florida, and I'll be interviewing him very soon. So please make sure you're subscribed, folks. He said, today I introduced the Securities Clarity Act with Representative Darren Soto. This bill clarifies the regulatory classification of digital assets and provides market certainty for innovators and clear jurisdictional boundaries for regulators. So great that that Tom Emmer and these folks are going on the offensive, and it's bipartisan. I love that. He said, without a distinction between the asset and securities contract, the token projects that raise capital to fund development cannot move out of the securities framework once the project is decentralized, which hinders the utility of the project and ultimately harms token holders. The Securities Clarity Act inserts a key term, the investment contract asset, into existing securities law to enable crypto projects to reach their full potential in a compliant way, allowing the United States to compete globally in this next iteration of the internet. Well put, Congressman Tom Emmer. I love this. Obviously this bill has to be pushed through, and we got to get folks to buy in, but you have to go on the offensive, right? You got to call out Gary Gensler like Tom Emmer did, and Patrick McHenry and these folks, grill the hell out of him, show the hypocrisy, break down the narratives, and introduce legislation. And he's doing that. So, and I love it. And once again, I'll be talking to Representative Darren Soto. He's a Democrat, and Tom Emmer is a Republican, of course. So we're seeing bipartisan support. Now, today was a big stablecoin hearing. And, Representative French Hill was one of the folks speaking at the stablecoin hearing saying, without action from Congress, stablecoin issuers will not feel confident to build their projects in the US. So we're having the dialogue. We have legislation being pushed through. I really like the momentum we have right now, folks. There's a lot of hearings happening. Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business highlighted some takeaways. She said takeaways from the stablecoin hearing. Number one, seemed to be an overwhelming consensus that stablecoins are not securities and should not be regulated by the SEC, but possibly regulated at a state level. Of course, only a corrupt scumbag clown regulator like Gary Gensler would say stablecoins are securities. It's just asinine that he's trying to do this. But the point of what he's trying to do is roadblock this technology, kill the startups, right? So that the big incumbents like your JP Morgans who have a stable coin called JPM coin can come in and take over the market and rule the market like they have been, right, for decades. So this is what we're dealing with. And Gary Gensler and the SEC are weaponized by these incumbents to come in and kill these startups, not kill crypto because they can't. Right, the genie's out the bottle, the train is up the station, but they can try to shake down these companies and hurt them and send them overseas so that your Fidelity, your Nasdaq, your BlackRocks, your JP Morgan, your Goldman Sachs can come in and take over. She said, number two, witnesses and lawmakers agree there needs to be sensible legislation from Congress in order to bring stablecoins into the mainstream. I love, once again, these dialogues, these bills. The dialogue is important. It's the first step into then putting together legislation and bringing more people into the fold, more members of Congress to get these laws and bills passed. And here we got a article about the Chamber of Digital Commerce calling out Congress. Here's the headline: Blockchain Advocacy Group calls on Congress to get it together. The Chamber of Digital Commerce draws on Cold War era strategies to get crypto legislation to the president's desk. So as I've been saying, we got to go on the offensive. We got to ramp it up. We got to take it to the next level. The advocacy group is requesting Congress to establish a digital asset and blockchain technology Solarium Commission to create a comprehensive policy package. The commission proposal draws on President Dwight D. Eisenhower era policy when Project Solarium was launched to address national security concerns during the Cold War. More recently, Congress mandated the bipartisan Cyberspace Solarium Commission in 2019 to improve cyber defense strategies. Here's a quote: Our allies and adversaries' advances in blockchain and digital assets threaten U.S. leadership and dominance across next-generation finance, trade, business, and other verticals, while the U.S. sits idle, effectively pushing the industry overseas, the chamber wrote in a statement Thursday. I love this. This is a great move, using politics and language that, the politicians are familiar with, right? They know about these things. So I love this smart move. And once again, going in the offensive, ramping it up, because we know Gary Gensler, Brad Sherman, and Elizabeth Warren, those corrupt clowns, are not giving up. And they're going to keep pushing and putting out FUD and false narratives, right? So we have to fight, folks. And this is why I keep every podcast I mention, call your representatives, tweet, use social media to your advantage. Our voices are being heard. Just look at what we did with the infrastructure bill, right? And all these other things, even the Ripple lawsuit with the 75,000 plus XRP holders being represented by John Deaton. You know how hard that would have been without the internet? The internet is the ultimate level playing field, so use it to your advantage. It's not just about XRP and Ripple. It's about overall the entire market overall. We got to fight. Final item here. Coinbase Cloud plugs into Chainlink Oracle network to improve smart contract reliability. So y'all know I hold Chainlink. I'm very bullish on Link. The amount of adoption Chainlink is getting, not only in the crypto industry, but outside, is amazing. And there's a lot of blockchains that use Chainlink's Oracle's network. And I'm really bullish on this project. That's not financial advice. I'm just telling you and giving you the reason why I'm so bullish on it. So I continue to accumulate and buy the dips. It's one of those projects I'm bullish on long term. So Chainlink's Oracle network will welcome Coinbase Cloud as a node operator to improve high quality data provision to several blockchain protocols. The United States cryptocurrency the United States-based cryptocurrency exchange's cloud service will operate as a new node operator on Chainlink's network in a partnership set to improve the decentralization of the Web3 ecosystem. Coinbase's infrastructure already services several leading blockchains, including Ethereum, Solana, Algorand, and Aptos. Chainlink node operators are integral to the network and are responsible for connecting smart contracts on different blockchains to data and systems. Chainlink creates a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 sourcing or by sourcing, formatting, and transmitting data to smart contracts. A prime example is Chainlink's provision of decentralized price feeds, which secures an estimated $22 billion of value locked in decentralized protocols, including Synthetics, Aave, Compound, and DYDX. So really, really great update here for Chainlink and, of course, for Coinbase. And once again, I'm very bullish on Link, guys. I continue to accumulate. Once again, not financial advice. Please do your own research. Invest wisely. It's always do your own research. Anyway, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Share this video. Don't forget to leave 5 stars on the podcast, and I'll talk to you all later.